The voice that you're about to hear belongs to one of these three men.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Take me down a little hand and go like this.
What is your name, please?
Hank Ballard.
My name is Hank Ballard.
My name is Hank Ballard.
Only one of these men is the real Hank Ballard. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Virginia Graham, Johnny Carson, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Thank you and welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Salem Cigarettes. Good evening, panel.
Hey, Bud.
Virginia, special extra good evening to you. Welcome to our show.
To tell you the truth, I've never been happier to be anywhere.
Well, we're happy, too. And now, if you all will open up your envelopes for the first time and take out the affidavit cards, follow along as I read this first one. I, Hank Ballard, am a nightclub singer and recording artist. My records of Finger Poppin' Time and Let's Go, Let's Go, Let's Go have each sold more than 1 million copies. My most important record, however, was one which was both written and sung by me in 1958. It also sold over the million mark. This record started the biggest dance craze of the generation. I am the composer, author, and originator of The Twist. Signed, Hank Ballard. All set, gentlemen? All right, panel, you heard as I did. These three gentlemen, each one claiming to be Hank Ballard, the originator of The Twist. So let's start this questioning with our own exponent of The Twist, Tom Poston. Huh?
Number 3, does your work come under the general heading of rock and roll?
Yes, I would say so.
Maybe, well, I'll ask number 2. Could you give us a working definition of rock and roll? What does it mean?
Well, I'm afraid I really can't tell you. You just sort of have to feel it.
You have to feel it, I see. Number 1, would you hold still for that? What is rock and roll derived from? What does it actually mean? Do you know?
Oh, it's derived from rhythm and blues, I think so. It's all the same. Rhythm and blues, rock and roll. It all come under the same term.
Thank you. Number 3, who is now a great exponent of the twist in our town?
In this particular town, are you talking about a place?
Well, I'm thinking more of a man.
Chubby Checker.
And thank you. Thank you.
Virginia.
Number 3, do you have your own chiropractor to give you an adjustment when you're finished?
No, I don't need it because I don't practice what I preach.
Oh, very good. Is most of the motion in the twist like in a bread done with the half a loaf? Do you move from the waist down more than from the waist up?
I wouldn't say so. I think it's a combination of your arms and your legs and your hips.
Number 2, how did you happen to invent the twist? Were there a lot of mosquitoes around on a hot day?
No, it may not seem that way, but, you know, when you're standing in front of a mic, you're singing, and you start to feeling the beat, the music, well, something happens. You have to do something. Now, I'm with the group, and we worked out some motion for the whole group. This is how it actually started. And then I wrote the song.
That was a nice combination.
Johnny.
I don't do the twist. I've seen it.
You don't?
I don't know much about it. You wear your clothes out from the inside, I know.
That's right.
Number 3, exactly, do your feet stay in place when you do the twist?
For a portion of the time they do, but you move around.
And then everything else goes. Number 2, what nightclubs have you worked in?
Well, I've worked at the Dewdrop Inn in New Orleans. Right now I'm at the Howard Theater in Washington.
Kitty.
Number 1, can you trace the genesis of the twist for me in terms of music?
In terms of music?
Yes, I mean starting with jazz and then what came next? In other words, what's the grandfather of the twist?
What's the grandfather of the
Yes.
twist?
An old man with back trouble.
All right, number 3, can you tell me any places where they dance the twist here in New York?
The one of prominence is the Peppermint Lounge.
And that's it. On that note, ladies and gentlemen of
I
the panel,
didn't get a chance to ask very much.
well, you just have to do your own form of the twist there with your pencils and pads as you mark your ballots, please, and do so now. Without consultation, mark your ballots for number 1, number 2, or number 3. And of course, as is our custom, the team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. All ballots marked? Everybody? Tom, for whom did you vote?
Number 3. It's the curviest number.
Virginia, which one did you select?
For very much the same reason, number 3 too, Bud. I felt there was more of him to twist.
Johnny, how about your ballot?
I voted for number 2. He's still moving.
And Kitty?
I voted for number 1. Because number 2 said that it all began when they were recording in front of a microphone, and number 1 was making sort of movements up there when they were playing the number, and so I thought it was number 1.
All right, there we have it now. The final analysis is 2 for 3, 1 for 2, and 1 for 1. And let's see whether we're right or wrong as we check right now and find out which one of these gentlemen is the real originator of the twist. So will the real Hank Ballard please stand up? I wish we had time to go through more. I'll let you in a little secret, too, Kitty. Sitting here, when one of you asked, what moves and so forth, while the others were describing it, just from here to here, he was just sitting there going like this. He was doing it all the time.
Have you invented the dance as well as the song?
Yes.
Ah.
Number 2, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, sir?
My name is Dr. Joseph Kennedy. I am a social psychologist with the African Research Foundation here in New York City.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to have you with us. If you'd said doctor and followed it by chiropractor, I think we all would have gotten up and gone home. Number 3, your real name and what you really do, sir.
My name is Pete Hull, and I'm an offensive end for the New York Giants.
And if you've ever seen him play, he does his own version of the twist there on the field, I tell you.
He's an awfully nice-looking fellow to be so offensive, isn't he?
Oh, boy. Well, we thank you, gentlemen. In checking the score, we find that there was only 1 correct. That means 3 incorrect, and $250 each. You can total that up quickly to $750 for you, gentlemen, as well as, of course, a carton of Salem cigarettes. We thank you for being with us. Good luck to all of you, and good night. Thank you. Panel, let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Chloda.
My name is Chloda.
My name is Chloda.
You've had a look, panel. Now give a listen and follow along, too, with your copies of this affidavit. I, Mrs. Desmond O'Kennedy, am known in the world of fashion as Chloda of Dublin, designer of clothes for women. Although I do have clients on both sides of the Atlantic, this is my first trip to this country. The clothes that the 3 of us are wearing were all designed by me. I should like to describe them.
I am wearing a black face cloth dress and jacket with Irish crochet buttons in the traditional rose pattern.
I'm wearing a shaded chiffon evening dress with an Irish crochet bodice.
I am wearing black on crimson Irish double knit jersey. It's a theatre coat, and I have fashioned it after a highwayman's cape.
This is only a small part of the collection which I have brought from Ireland to show for the first time in America. Signed, Chloda. All right, panel. Ladies, are you quite comfortable? Very well, let's proceed with our game then. And as you heard, each of these ladies claiming to be Chloda. Let's put this to rest once and for all by a little questioning, starting with our own fashion expert, Miss Kitty Carlisle.
Oh, thank you, Bud. Number 3, who does Crahay design for?
For Dior.
Number 2, who does Bohan design for?
For Dior.
And number 1, who did Laurent Saint design for?
Dior.
Number 3, is there a famous... by the way, the clothes are all perfectly lovely. Is there a famous Irish designer whose name starts with Sybil?
Sybil Connell.
Sybil Connor. Number 2, are your linens made by hand?
Some of them.
Not all of them.
Tom.
Thank you. Number 1, who is Gus Tassel?
Gus Tassel, I think he's a French designer, a new one.
Thank you. Do you agree with that, number 2?
I don't know.
Number 3, do you know who Mr. Tassel is?
No.
Number 3, who is one of our most illustrious American designers? Could you tell?
Olga. I'm sorry,
Number 2, perhaps you could tell us.
Olga Cassini.
Olga Cassini. There is another. Number 1, we have another one who is internationally famous, or several, but this one in particular I'm thinking of.
Well, I'm not too familiar with the American designers, but Ben Zuckerman and I think Pauline Treguer.
Virginia.
Thank you, lady.
First of all, ladies in general, I'm glad that women are designing for women. I mean, it's nice enough, you know, to have boyish haircuts, but we should be women.
You don't like designing men?
No. Yes, if they have designs on women. Number 3, what are the skirt lengths in Ireland, or how are the winds blowing this year?
They'll be straight.
They'll be straight?
And short.
And short. So ankles away. Number 2, does the name Petula mean anything to you?
Petula?
Yes.
Petula Clark?
Petula Clark? No. Did you say Petula Clark?
Yes.
No, the name Petulo.
Petulo?
Yes. Number 1, does the name Petulo mean anything to you?
No, not a thing.
Do you believe in Ireland that the men select the dresses as much as, go with the wives as much as they do in America, number 1?
In selecting their dresses?
Yes, in selecting their dress. Do they come to your salon with their wives?
An Irishman wouldn't be seen dead in a fashion salon.
Saloon? That's right.
Salon.
Oh, in a saloon, yes.
All right. Johnny Carson, you take it from there.
Number 2?
Yes.
Hello. How would you describe what Kitty is wearing tonight? Could you describe that for me?
She's wearing a chiffon
Well, what are
cocktail
these?
dress. It's a feather boa.
What kind of feathers?
Ostrich, I think.
I understand you're flying south right after the show tonight.
And that's that. Few comments, practically no questions, but away we go now to the final moment of denouement as we do a little marking of ballots. So let's do so now. Why not? Without consultation, will you kindly vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3? And we'll see what happens. Are all ballots marked? All right, Tom, this time for whom?
Well, I'm sure you're all waiting with bated breath to see how I identified the lady designer from Ireland. I did admire the clothing very much. I admired the ladies even more. I voted for number 2.
Virginia.
World traveler that I am, there was a bit of the Shannon Airport in number 1's accent of nostalgia, and I think she is it.
Johnny, which one did you select?
It's really kind of unfair to fellows like Tom and I because, you know, this is not in our area, but I voted for number 2.
Don't be a sore loser. We sometimes have to vote on prize
Yeah,
fights.
you're the wrong spot there. You just dropped the vote. Kitty.
I voted for number 1. Number 2 said that, number 3 said that Crahay designed for Dior, and I think it's Nina Ricci. Number 2 said Bohan for Dior, which was correct. But number 1, I think, had more sort of working knowledge of American fashions.
All right, there again we have it. Let's see whether we did well or did not do quite so well. In other words, let's find out which one of these 3 charming ladies is the real fashion designer from Ireland. So will the real Chloda please stand up? thank you very much. We really haven't got much time, but I would like to ask Tom, who is Gus Cassell?
He's a rather good American designer.
But new.
Exciting new American
designer. Not necessarily know him.
Number one, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Sheila Biggs, and I live in Pelham Manor, and I'm a housewife and mother.
Good. And equally charming number three, your real name and what you do.
My name is Colette Melville, and I breed toy Yorkshire Terriers.
We thank you all, and if you had fun, we had fun, believe me. And the score racks up as follows. There were 2 incorrect votes this time at $250 each for a total of $500. Not bad for a few laughs and a lot of fun and giving us the gracious pleasure of your company. Also, on the way out, you'll receive a carton of Salem cigarettes. Good night, ladies. God bless you. The panel is our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Don Pickard.
My name is Don Pickard.
My name is Don Pickard. Follow along once again, panel, will you? I, Don Pickard, am a balloonist. I am the holder of 9 national and 6 international altitude records. My interest in ballooning must be hereditary since my father invented the plastic balloon and my mother still holds the unofficial balloon altitude record for women. Since I have flown more different kinds of balloons than any man alive, I have been called upon to be an instructor for the United States Navy and as technical advisor for motion pictures. I am currently working on producing and marketing the Volcoon, a non-inflammable hot air balloon. This, we hope, will revive the sport of balloon racing by bringing the cost of a privately owned balloon within the reach of the average sportsman. Signed, Don Pickard. Now you heard as did I. 3 gentlemen this time claiming to be Don Pickard, balloonist extraordinary, and let's begin this round with Virginia Graham. Virginia?
Number 1, Don Pickard. You're nice and tall, so you're half the way there before you get in the balloon, right? As a child, were you weaned instead of on swings in balloons? Were you taken up for a ride at a very early age?
No.
Number 1, what about the lighter-than-air vehicles being obsolete by the United States government? Was this a personal blow, and will balloons just be used for fun?
Well, the Volcoon is really a fun balloon. It doesn't have military value.
Number 2, is there any sensation of air sickness? Is it necessary to take Dramamine before, after, and during?
If you have the feeling, I would suggest that you do.
How do you feel?
Take the Dramamine. No, not at all. I never have used it.
And number 3, in your...
Johnny
See you
Carson.
later.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're trying to bring down the cost of a hot air balloon for average sportsmen. I was just saying this morning, if I could just have my own hot air balloon. Number 2, what type of gas do you use in this hot air balloon?
Which one are you talking about? The Volcoon?
Yes.
We use no gas. It's just hot air.
Just
You can fill it right here.
That had nothing to do with the fact that
I was
you got a
fearful
point.
of something like that.
Number 1, what height do you reach with this hot air balloon?
Well, you can go to almost any height you want. 10,000 feet or beyond that, you need oxygen.
Kitty.
Isn't there a Pickard who went down in the bathysphere?
Which number?
Well, number 2.
The Pickard who went down in the bathysphere?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you any relation?
Yes, ma'am. He's
He
my
had a
cousin.
lousy balloon.
He's your cousin. Are you related to him, number 1? The bathysphere, the Pickard? The bathysphere?
Are you related to him?
No.
Pickard, you're not. Are you related to him, number 3?
Yes, I am. If you speak of Jacques Pickard.
Yes.
He's my cousin.
He's your cousin. Number 3, when you go down, I get you all mixed up with your cousin. That's awful.
I go in
When
the-
you go up, do you get mixed up with your cousin?
No.
Are you French, number 3?
Well, I'm Swiss.
You're Swiss. And you're an advisor for the... Oh, well.
Tom.
Number 1, are you American?
Yes.
Number 2?
Yes, I am.
And number 3, you're Swiss.
I'm born Swiss.
There was a balloon, number 1, that was picked up in Long Island Sound, and its cargo was cosmic ray equipment. Are you familiar with that story?
not with that individual story. There are many, many balloons sent up for cosmic ray research.
Maybe you would know from where?
Most of the balloon work's done in Minnesota, South Dakota.
Thank you. Number 2, would you tell me 3 materials commonly used as ballast in sportsmen's balloons? Number 2.
In sportsman's balloon?
Yeah.
There's sand primarily that's used. There's just plain ordinary dirt, and lead is sometimes used over water.
Wouldn't want to be in the way when they drop some of that lead ballast, I'll tell you that. Well, it's time once again to vote, panelists, so do so, will you please?
Johnny said our other passengers.
Our other passengers, lighten the load. And quickly, too. Okay, mark your ballots, if you will, please, without consultation. Vote for number 1, number 2, or for number 3. Virginia's already marked here, I see. Everybody else, too? Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
Voted for number 1. I knew about the Minnesota launchings. And I was always under the impression that Mr. Pickard was born and lived in this country, but I may be completely wrong. I'll have to figure out why Willie Stein had that ringer in there.
Virginia, your vote.
He looks like one of the stamps America could put out of a boy balloonist. I voted for number 1, too.
Johnny, which one do you think is the real one?
Well, I'm just so happy that private ballooning is coming back that I really couldn't think straight tonight. I was going to get out and get one right after the show, but I voted for number 1.
Well, there's a certain unanimity here.
I voted for number 2. I was very confused because number 1 looked like the pictures that I've seen of the original Mr. Pickard of the bathysphere. But when number 2 said he was a cousin and number 3 said he was a cousin, I had to vote for one of them, even though he looked like him and he said he wasn't a cousin. So I voted for number 2.
All right. Balloon going up, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Now, as we find out whether any one of these trial balloons was correct or all wrong or just how we stand, as we learn which one of these gentlemen is the real balloonist. So will the real Don Pickard please stand up? Never had one of them stand up quite so quickly. That's that air, I guess, wearing his own balloon.
I'm sorry, Kitty. None of the Pickards ever went down the bathysphere. That was Beebe and Barton. The Pickards went down the bathyscaphe like Don Walsh, who you met here before.
The product, a term name, bathyscaphe, bathysphere.
And that's why...
a world of difference.
I'm so sorry.
An underworld of difference.
Oh, dear. I often get the right one for the wrong reasons. I got the wrong one for the right reasons.
Number 2, may we find out your real name and what you really do, please, sir?
My name is Lou Pernecka. I live in Norwalk, Connecticut, and I'm with the American Can Company.
Thank you, sir. And last but by no means least, number 3, your real name and what you do, please, sir.
My name is Wolfgang Bruck. I'm from New York. I'm with the Otto Goerau Company, importers and exporters.
Thank you, sir. Well, the panel did better this time. In checking the score, we find, unfortunately for you gentlemen, there were 3 correct. That means only 1 incorrect at $250, and that's the sum total of your winnings tonight. Along, of course, with, and it's a real winnings, a carton of Salem cigarettes for each of you. We thank you, gentlemen, for adding such joy to our evening. Good night and good luck to you. I believe it's just about time left for me to remind all of you of something that possibly you do not know. The 3 great faiths in this country, America, Catholic, Protestant, and Jewish, actually carry on about 80% of our country's voluntary overseas relief by distributing food, clothing, medicines, bedding, and all of the necessities for people who do not have these things in every free country of the world. So just help keep the faith of those in need by contributing through your faith. Remember that. Panel, it was fun. Good night to you.
Certainly was. Good night, Bud.
Good night, Bud.
Bud Collier saying good night from Salem and reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To tell the truth is
Don Pickard was the technical advisor for the balloon sequence in the Columbia Pictures release, Mysterious Island.